There is a real trade proposal on the table for Max Crosby, and this time the team coming is a division rival, which makes this whole conversation a lot more uncomfortable. A young offensive lineman that Pete Carroll buried is emerging as a legitimate starting candidate, and the guard battle just got genuinely interesting. And Quay Walker just said something about his time in Green Bay that tells you exactly how dangerous he can be now that he is finally in the right system. Raider Nation, if you bleed silver and black, stay right here. Pete Carroll buried an entire rookie class, and one of the names coming back from that is Caleb Rogers, the young guard who flashed something real at the end of the 2025 season and is now emerging as a legitimate candidate to start alongside Tyler Linderbaum when training camp opens. Vincent Bonsignore of the Las Vegas Review-Journal was at mandatory minicamp and came away saying Rogers looks ready to compete for a starting job at right guard. That is not a throwaway line from a local reporter. That is someone who watches this team every single day telling you that a player most people wrote off is showing up when it counts. Here's the context that makes this interesting. Jackson Powers-Johnson has been the first-team right guard throughout the offseason program, but he was sidelined with an injury on the first day of mandatory minicamp. Rogers stepped in with the first team and apparently looked very impressive. Bonsignore stood firm on the idea that Powers, Johnson, and Rogers could be in a real battle for that starting spot come fall. Now, most people assumed Powers Johnson had that job locked down. He was a second-round pick. He has been running with the ones, and there has been no indication that the coaching staff is unhappy with him. But here is what this development actually tells you about how Kubiak and Rick Dennison are approaching this offensive line. They are not handing jobs to anyone based on draft status or previous designations. They are watching the tape, evaluating what they see every day, and letting competition determine who starts. Spencer Burford has been getting first-team reps at left guard and earning it, not just holding the spot because someone decided it was his. Trey Zune III has been moved all over the line at guard and tackle, doing exactly what you want from a versatile third-round pick. Jordan Meredith is a veteran with experience at multiple interior spots who cannot be counted out. And now Rogers is forcing his way into the conversation at right guard. This is exactly what a well-run offensive line competition looks like. Pete Carroll wasted a year of development for every one of these players by refusing to give the rookie class a fair shot. Kubiak and Dennison are making up for that lost time right now, and if Rogers wins a starting spot in training camp after everything Carroll put him there, that storyline is going to mean something real to every single person in Raider Nation who watched this team waste talent for 2 straight years. The trade conversation that Raider Nation cannot seem to escape just got a new chapter, and it involves Max Crosby because Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport pitched a trade that would send him to the San Francisco 49ers for a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and former first-round pick Michael Williams. And this one hits different from the others because San Francisco is a division rival, not a team in the AFC that Raider Nation rarely sees. A team in the NFC West that shares a division with the Los Angeles Rams, who just acquired Myles Garrett, and who now needs to answer that move or fall behind in an arms race that just escalated dramatically. Davenport acknowledged that this package is not as good as what Baltimore offered earlier this offseason, when the Ravens had 2 first-round picks on the table before backing out over the knee. But he argued it is not that far off either because Williams was the 11th overall pick in last year's draft and was a highly regarded prospect coming out of Georgia with 2 second-team All-SEC selections. The torn ACL he suffered last season is a concern, a real one, but the talent was never in question. Now let me tell you exactly how I feel about this, and then let me give you the honest counter-argument. Trading Max Crosby to a division rival is the kind of move that haunts a franchise for years. You do not send the best pass rusher in your building to a team you have to play twice every single season and watch him wreck your quarterback while the picks you got in return are still 2 years away from being used. That is a nightmare scenario that no amount of draft capital makes worth it. But here is the honest part. The Raiders tried to trade Crosby earlier this offseason. They accepted Baltimore's offer. The only reason Crosby is still here is because the Ravens backed out over medical concerns about his knee. John Spytek was willing to move him then, and the franchise's trajectory as a rebuilding team has not fundamentally changed since that deal fell apart. Crosby himself sounds genuinely happy in Las Vegas right now. He told reporters the Ravens situation is water under the bridge, that he has been through a lot in his life, and it means nothing to him, and that he is here, wants to be here, and has a lot of work to do. That is a man who has made peace with his situation and is locked in for 2026. And as long as he feels that way, this front office should feel zero pressure to listen to any offer from San Francisco or anyone else. If you want to know why the Raiders defense could be better than expected, listen to what Key Walker just said after day 2 of mandatory minicamp, because this linebacker basically told the entire NFL that Green Bay never figured out how to use him properly and that Rob Leonard already has. Walker was asked about Leonard's philosophy of playing fast and aggressive, and his answer was immediate and direct. He said that describes him. He said anytime he can play fast and be aggressive, he is at his best. And then he went further, stopping just short of calling out the Packers by name, but making it perfectly clear what he meant. He said the last team he played for kind of took it the wrong way when he said he wanted to move around. He was not being disrespectful toward Green Bay. He just felt his strengths were in playing multiple spots, being moved down on the ball, and also brought back, doing different things. And he said right now, in Las Vegas, he is being used the right way. That is a player who has been in the league for 4 seasons, racked up over 100 tackles and at least 1.5 sacks in every single one of those years, and is now telling you that you have not seen his best football yet. Let that sink in for a second. Walker spent 873 of his 978 defensive snaps last season lined up in the box. Every season with Green Bay followed a similar pattern. The Packers essentially turned one of the most athletic linebackers in this league into a one-dimensional run stopper and never unlocked what he could do in space, on blitzes, in coverage, when given the freedom to react instead of think. Leonard's scheme does the opposite. He wants fast decisions, aggressive play, and the freedom to let athletes be athletes. For Walker, that is not just a philosophical fit. It is the exact environment he has been saying he needed without ever quite being able to say it out loud until now. The AFC West quarterbacks better be paying attention. Patrick Mahomes runs this division right now, and everyone knows it. But a Key Walker who is finally being used the right way, playing fast and free in a scheme built for exactly what he does, is going to cause problems for every offense this defense faces in 2026. Here is what this week actually told Raider Nation about where this franchise is heading. The offensive line is deeper than anyone gave it credit for, and Caleb Rogers emerging as a real starting candidate is proof that Pete Carroll did not break these players, he just delayed them. The Crosby situation is not going away, and probably will not until he steps on a field healthy and puts the league on notice that the knee is fine and the level is still elite. And Quay Walker just told every offensive coordinator in the AFC West that they have not seen his real game yet, that 4 years of being misused in Green Bay are over, and that Rob Leonard is finally putting him in position to show what he actually is. That combination of a rebuilt offensive line, an unleashed linebacker, and Max Crosby returning to full health is what this defense could look like when training camp opens in late July. Not a finished product, not a Super Bowl defense. But something real, something physical, something that can keep this team in games while Fernando Mendoza learns how to win them. The pieces are there. Now they have to show up. Drop your take in the comments. This space belongs to everyone who lives by just win, baby, and never walked away from the silver and black.